Hey guys, Luke here. Just wanted to give you a little bit of an insight into some of the reasoning for why we're always trying to get you to sit back into your hips when you initiate your squatting movements, stepping movements, sitting movements, standing movements. Always drilling you to keep a nice vertical shin and kind of sit back and initiate into the hips. And it can seem a little counterintuitive because it feels so unnatural to do that, which we explain a lot to you guys that the way that you've been doing things up to this point isn't necessarily what's going to help you get the most out of your knees and the most out of your movement moving forward now that there's some change to the joint surfaces and so forth. So in order to stimulate a change and to really keep you moving in the right direction, we need to modify how you load a little bit. Now, the vertical shin movement, for a lot of you, like I said, is quite unusual and it feels a bit weird. But here we have a knee. This is what nobody's knee really looks like that, but on the inside it kind of represents this. Now, this would be your right knee. So the fibula, tibia, and femur up here. And this is your kneecap. It sits on the top. And across or in that, around that patella is this patella tendon. Now, the muscles of your thigh come down and they all blend into the one common tendon, this patella tendon. Now, that patella tendon goes over the kneecap and into the tibia here. And so it's anchored down here and the muscles pull on it this way to drive the knee to straighten out, to kick out. If you are standing up and you contract this and you push through your knees, then you'll use this muscle to drive from a bent position here. This squeezes and pulls you up into standing. Now, if you imagine letting your knee come forward, like most of us do when you first come in for your assessment, you let your knee come forward and sometimes it goes in a little bit. So in a little bit is a whole nother, I might need to do another video on that because in a little bit is a little bit, that's no good, we don't want that. But forwards is what we're going to focus on today. Now, if you let your knee go forwards this way, now that would be fine if there's not heaps of demand up here to take that load. So if this can relax a little bit and you've got the range of motion to let that glide forward without the pressures getting too high under the kneecap, no problem at all. If, however, there's some irritability on the joint surfaces, you slide forward this way and you're trying to use your quads dominantly to drive the movement as well, what happens is you pull more tension from the top end. So this gets a bit stuck and then you glide forward and the pressures get really, really high and this squashes down onto the surface and creates more irritability on the joint surface. So what we want you to try and do, and what we keep drilling to try and get the movement pattern, is that you initiate further back into the hip this way so that you can use your hamstrings and your glutes more, the back side of the leg and the hip, to create the tension and create control. So then as you sit back, this has some flexibility because it's not being anchored by the quads doing all the work, and it just slides a little bit more freely through the front of the thigh. So to recap, by recruiting your quad muscles too much and letting the knee come forward, it increases the pressure that's squashed down underneath the kneecap and creates more friction at the surfaces, which have already got a little bit of character in there, a little bit of activity in the background that's been overdone it for them. So now what we want you to do is be able to take up the slack with the hamstrings and the glutes, the back side of the leg, so that you can, that quad is a bit more relaxed in these movements, so that you can, this slides a little bit freer, a little bit less compressive stress on the knee, and a little bit less pain at the knee joint. Now, as a byproduct of having less pain when you do those things, you can then do more, so you can get stronger, so the quad gets stronger because you're doing more and you're able to get out and enjoy your life with less pain in your knees. So, in a nutshell, sitting back reduces the shear stress and the pressures, the compressive stress on the kneecap and on the knee joint surfaces so that you can do more and get stronger. So if you have any questions about that, hit us up. Practice. The more you practice, the more natural it'll feel, and look forward to seeing you in the knee program soon.